There's a Japanese warrior who fought over 60 sword duels and never lost once, not a single time. And right before he died, he wrote down the one secret that made him unbeatable. It wasn't his sword technique. It wasn't his strength. It was something way more powerful that you can use starting today. When you actually apply this secret, people are going to think you've completely lost your mind. Your friends will call you obsessed, and that's exactly how you'll know it's working. What if the moment people start calling you crazy is when you know you're finally on the right path? Today, I want to show you how to build that level of discipline using the philosophy of a man who never lost a fight in his entire life. In 17th century Japan, there lived a swordsman named Miyamoto Musashi who fought over 60 duels and never lost once. Not a single time. You know what? He won them so decisively that his reputation alone would make opponents surrender before drawing their swords. But Musashi wasn't just a warrior. He was a philosopher who understood something most of us never figure out, that the real battle isn't against other people. It's against the person you were yesterday, and the weapon you use in that fight isn't a sword, it's discipline. Before he died, Musashi wrote down everything he learned about winning, strategy, and self-mastery in a book called The Book of Five Rings. It wasn't just about sword fighting, it was about how to live like someone who never accepts defeat, and the principles in that book will completely change how you think about discipline. Concept 1. Know the way broadly. Musashi wrote, "If you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things." Most people think discipline is about fixing one thing. Maybe they want to wake up earlier or hit the gym more often, but that's not how it works. Real discipline isn't a single habit, it's a way of thinking that touches everything you do. When you truly understand discipline, you see it everywhere. In how you organize your space, how you speak to people, how you handle your money, even how you eat your food. Think about it like this. A samurai doesn't just train with his sword and then act sloppy with everything else. He treats his equipment with respect, keeps his armor clean, studies his enemies, manages his resources. Everything matters because everything is connected. So if you want real discipline, stop thinking about individual habits. Start thinking about becoming the type of person who does everything with intention. Your fitness, your work, your relationships, your environment, nothing gets to be casual anymore. Because when you master one area completely, that mastery starts showing up everywhere else. Concept 2. The void. In his book, Musashi writes about something he calls the void. He describes it as a state of mind where you're completely clear. No emotions clouding your judgment, no hesitation slowing you down, no overthinking paralyzing you into inaction. Here's what that means for you. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for inspiration to strike. Most people live their entire lives waiting for some magical feeling that's going to make discipline easy. Let me tell you, it doesn't exist. The void is about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel about it. You wake up at 5 a.m. not because you want to, but because that's what you decided to do. You stick to your diet not because the food tastes amazing, but because that's the commitment you made. You work on your goals not because you're excited about them today, but because they align with who you're becoming. This is where most people fail. They think discipline is about willpower, but it's actually about becoming someone who operates beyond feelings. You build this by practicing small acts of discipline when you don't feel like it until not feeling like it stops being a reason to quit. Concept 3. Timing is the key to victory. Musashi was obsessed with timing. In sword fighting, knowing exactly when to attack and when to defend meant the difference between life and death. He studied his opponents, watched for the perfect moment, then struck with complete commitment. Your life works the same way. There's a time to push hard and a time to rest, a time to speak up and a time to stay quiet, a time to take risks and a time to be conservative. Disciplined people understand this rhythm. Most people either go all out until they burn out or they never go all out at all. But look at how Musashi managed his energy. He would spend months or even years preparing for a single duel. He didn't waste energy on meaningless fights, but when the moment came, he was ready to give everything. Apply this to your own life. Stop saying yes to everything. Stop treating every day like it's equally important. Learn to recognize when something truly matters, then bring your full attention and energy to that moment. Discipline isn't about constant intensity. It's about knowing exactly when to be intense and having the self-control to execute when that moment comes. Concept 4. Train like it's life or death. Here's something Musashi said that changed how I think about everything. You can only fight the way you practice. He believed that every single day should be lived like you're preparing for the most important battle of your life, because in a way, you are. Most people practice casually and then wonder why they fall apart when things get difficult. They skip workouts when they don't feel like it. They make exceptions to their rules when it's convenient. They give 70% effort and expect 100% results. But the truth is, how you do anything is how you do everything. If you let yourself be sloppy in small things, you'll be sloppy when it matters. If you make excuses during practice, you'll make excuses during the game. Musashi trained so intensely that real fights felt easier than his daily practice. That's the level we're talking about. When your normal day requires more discipline than most people's best day, you've built something that can't be broken. This doesn't mean you never rest or that you're always grinding. It means that when you commit to something, you commit completely. When you say you're going to do something, you do it exactly how you said you would, every single time. Your word to yourself becomes unbreakable. Here's where things get interesting. Musashi often isolated himself for months at a time. He would live in caves, go without speaking to anyone, practice his sword work for 12 hours a day. To the people in nearby villages, he looked completely insane. And that's exactly the point. When you start living with real discipline, people are going to think you've lost your mind. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you're taking things too seriously. They'll try to get you to loosen up and live a little. This is actually a good sign. It means you're operating at a level most people can't understand. When your friends think your morning routine is crazy, when your family doesn't get why you're so strict with your schedule, when people start avoiding you because your standards make them uncomfortable, that's when you know you're doing something right. The average person hits snooze 5 times, scrolls their phone for 2 hours a day, and complains about not having enough time. Of course, your life is going to look crazy to them. You're living by completely different rules. Musashi saw life as a constant battle, but not against other people. The real enemies were internal: laziness, fear, ego, comfort, excuses. Every single day, with every single decision, you're either sharpening your blade or letting it rust. You don't need external enemies to practice this. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you win a battle. Every time you do what you said you would do instead of what you feel like doing, you win a battle. Every time you push through resistance instead of giving into it, you win a battle. Most people think the war is out there, against their boss, their circumstances, other people's opinions. But the only war that matters is the one inside your head. Can you make yourself do what needs to be done when you don't want to do it? Can you stick to your standards when no one is watching? Can you be honest about your weaknesses and still push forward anyway? That's the battlefield. That's where real discipline is built. And once you start winning those internal battles consistently, the external world starts responding differently to you. People sense when someone has real control over themselves. It changes how they treat you, how they speak to you, what opportunities they bring to you. At the end of his life, Musashi wrote something that stuck with me. Today is victory over yourself of yesterday, not victory over other people, not victory over your circumstances, victory over the version of yourself that wanted to quit, that made excuses, that chose the easy path. True discipline isn't about impressing anyone else. It's not about looking good on social media or getting people to think you're hardcore. It's about becoming someone who can be trusted, especially by yourself. So here's my challenge for you. Live like a modern samurai. Treat your daily routine like training for the most important fight of your life. Make decisions that your future self will thank you for. And when people start calling you crazy for how disciplined you've become, smile and keep going. You'll know you're finally on the right path. The question isn't whether you can build this level of discipline. The question is whether you're willing to become the type of person others won't understand, because that's exactly what it takes. Subscribe the channel for more of this kind of content. It costs you nothing but help us grow and reach more ambitious people like you.